My goal in this video is to share the insights I wish someone had told me early on so you can get on the right path from the start instead of wasting years in the gym with little to show for it. Hey, what's up everybody? Daniel here from DM Fitness. Looking back on when I first started my fitness journey, there are definitely some things I would do differently. I believe that the struggles I went through and the mistakes I made can help some of you avoid the same pitfalls and reach your fitness goals faster. I used to believe that getting my dream physique was all about losing body fat. I was obsessed with that idea, but over time I realized I was wrong and it took me years to understand why. Building an aesthetic body as a natural lifter isn't just about being lean. Looking back, my journey happened in 3 phases. Each one taught me a valuable lesson that I will never forget. So in this video, I want to walk you through those 3 phases, what I learned in each, and what I would do differently if I could start over. When I started out, I was laser focused on getting lean. In my mind, that was the key to an impressive physique. I went all in, cut out fast food, sugar, soda, even dairy. My meals were the same every day: chicken breast, broccoli, zucchini, some walnuts, and brown rice. I worked out 4 to 5 times a week using a random program I found online and added cardio every morning, fasted, not because I enjoyed them, but because everything I read said it was necessary. I thought, if I do everything perfectly for 6 months, I will have the body I want. 6 months later, I had lost 10 kilograms, but I still didn't look how I imagined. So I pushed harder, thinking maybe I just needed to drop another 5 kilos, but progress slowed. I was losing maybe a kilogram per month, and it became harder to stay motivated. Hunger kept increasing, my energy dropped, and I was becoming impatient. By the time I hit the 1-year mark, I hit a wall, both physically and mentally. I'd lost a lot of weight, but looked worse. I was skinny, still couldn't clearly see my abs, and people started asking if I was okay. At first I ignored them, but eventually I started questioning things myself. That's when it finally clicked. Fat loss only reveals the physique you already have, and I didn't have much muscle to show. Like many guys, I started with very little muscle mass. Severe calorie restriction and constant cardio only made it harder to build any. What I should have done was get reasonably lean, then stopped cutting after about 6 months and shifting to building muscle. Instead, I stayed in a deficit for too long, chasing a shredded look that didn't exist for me yet. If you're starting with higher body fat and minimal muscle, yes, focus on fat loss initially, but don't chase that 10% body fat if you have no muscle base. Know when to switch gears, or you will just spin your wheels. After learning my lesson, I shifted focus to building muscle. But this came with a whole new set of challenges. I had gotten so used to eating less that the idea of increasing calories made me uncomfortable. I added only a few calories back, kept doing cardio, and tried to build muscle without gaining weight, which was a huge mistake. I ended up stuck in a cycle I now call fat gain fear. I didn't realize that gaining muscle requires some fat gain. The goal isn't to avoid gaining any weight, it's to gain muscle at a better ratio than fat. And now, having been in this game for 17 years, I can say that you can do this pretty well as a natural lifter if you dial in the 3 big variables: nutrition, training, and recovery. I also learned that building muscle is way harder and slower than losing fat. Losing 2 kilograms a month is common, but gaining 2 kilos of muscle can take months or even years. It demands consistency with training, nutrition, recovery, and yeah, smashing that like button if you're enjoying content. Back then I wasn't so structured, but things changed when I learned about progressive overload. I became more data-driven. I treated workouts like a game, each session had a goal, and I aimed to beat my previous performance. Shifting my mindset from dieter to athlete made a huge difference. Having a training and nutrition log made things easier for me. I still remember the day I finally squatted 3 plates. It took years, but it felt incredible, and it reminded me that building a great physique naturally takes time. If you're an average guy with average genetics starting from scratch, there is no 90-day fix, no magic 6 months transformation. When transitioning from fat loss to muscle building, you can't tiptoe in and undereat. You need to commit to gaining a kilogram per month, get your protein in and get stronger. I wasted months in a gray zone, eating just enough to get nowhere. If I had embraced the process earlier, tracking my lifts and gotten over my fear of weight gain, I would make gains much faster. 5 years into my journey, I finally decided to get shredded. By then, I had built a decent amount of muscle and wanted to see what I would look like at 8 to 10% body fat. This time I did it right. Every meal was weighted, calories and macros were dialed in, and I tracked progress meticulously, daily weigh-ins, waist measurements and progress photos. I aimed to increase my non-exercise physical activity with 10,000 steps per day, lifted 5 times a week and followed a solid program. Having 2 days off in a row for recovery and applying deload weeks every 10 to 12 weeks shifted my progress in the gym. Before, I was scared that if I took a week off, I would lose muscle. After 7 or 8 months of robotic consistency with a few ups and downs, I reached my goal. I looked just as lean as the guys I saw online. But here's the truth, it came at a big cost. My calories were so low for so long that I felt permanently hungry. I dreamed of pancakes and ice cream, I was cold even in summer, my libido disappeared and my girlfriend wasn't thrilled. She thought that I was obsessed and I was constantly irritable. I was weaker in the gym and everyday tasks became exhausting. Sure, I looked shredded in photos, but physically and mentally I felt terrible. Back then, no one talked about the downsides of being extremely lean as a natural. Social media made it look like being under 10% body fat year-round was the norm, but I started to realize that a lot of what I saw was fake or at least enhanced. The shredded look all the time, not sustainable naturally, lean at 10 to 12% body fat, yes, but shredded sub 10% year-round, no. That experience changed how I saw everything. Now I aim to maintain around 12% body fat, lean enough to look athletic but still feel good. If I want to dip lower, I can, but only temporarily. When I bulk, I let myself gain slowly until I hit 15% body fat, then slowly trim down again. This whole journey helped me see how social media sets unrealistic expectations. You scroll through your feed and think everyone's benching 140 kilos, deadlifting 6 plates, and staying shredded year-round. The reality, most of those physiques belong to genetic outliers, often enhanced ones. Comparing yourself to them only leads to frustration. If you're natural, you need a different game plan. So hope you can learn from my journey. If you're stuck in a plateau right now, just know that it's a part of the process. Keep learning, keep adapting, and most importantly, stay consistent. Time and consistency are the real secrets to building a great natural physique. If you're interested in coaching and want to work with me directly, check out my DM Fitness coaching. No generic approach, just custom tailored meal plans and training programs. Link in the description below for details. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you will not miss any future uploads. Take care and I'll see you in the next video.